coming at you from Vancouver in Canada. I really wish that I was coming at you from Mallorca in Spain right now, but here we are, and I'm excited to be part of RAMA Fest nonetheless. So today, I'm talking about following a path with a heart. And this all came to me about 15 years ago. I remember the moment very clearly. I was standing outside of a pregnancy clinic with a woman that I had known for a few months, and we were staring at an ultrasound photo of my yet unborn 13-week-old daughter. And I had a path choice to make. Would I stay with this woman who I didn't know? Would we have a baby together? And what would come? And I remember standing there, and for one of the first times in my life, feeling instead of thinking. And it took about 8 seconds for me to finally choose a path with heart. So I didn't know it at the time, but that would be a pivotal moment in my life. My wife and I have been together, the same woman I was with outside that clinic, and my daughter is turning 14 in October. And following a path with heart for me started there. And since then, I've tuned myself up and tuned myself in enough to know when I am and when I'm not following a path with a heart. I definitely do not have a perfect record on this, but what I want to offer you today are some ways to be more discerning about what it is to follow a path with heart. Because what I really believe is that for anyone who is leading a spiritual life on the planet, so all of you for sure, anyone, following a path with a heart is the essence of this. And so I want to break it down. I want to talk a little bit about what it means to follow a path with a heart. I want to demystify it a little bit, and then I want to give you some really helpful criteria to help you know if a path you're following has a heart or not. So, in my view, following a path with a heart is really about two things. It's about feeling deeply and then taking action. So feeling deeply, this is really about cultivating a strong soul body in Kundalini Yoga. So cultivating a strong soul body so that you can feel deeply enough into a moment to know whether or not it has a heart. So most of you can probably do that. But the second part, and the one that I find is often missing, especially in the spiritual community, is the action part. So having enough chi or prana in your body and having cultivated a strong neutral mind so that you can take right action. So that's the how as I see it. Those two pieces are super critical, but I want to demystify it because there's a lot of stuff flying around the ether these days about what people should be doing and should be focusing on, and I'm not here to tell you what you should be doing, but I do want to demystify this. So first piece is purpose is not enough. So purpose is super important in a person's life. I'm sure all of you know that already, but it's not enough just to have purpose. So in essence, it's a bit like a thermostat purpose. So a lot of people, they set it once and then they forget about it. And what that allows you to do, or can allow you to do, is it can let you drift. So you set your purpose thermostat, you assume that you're on a path with a heart, and then it can drift. I've also seen purpose get used as an excuse. So I come across people all the time who are following a path that they know has no heart, but they feel like because they have some other purpose that they've created years ago, that that's sufficient. And I'm putting to you that that's just not enough. Meditating and doing yoga is also not enough. It is obviously important. I'm a huge fan of Kundalini yoga, but sitting around meditating, doing yoga just is not enough to follow the path with heart. Neither is personal growth. So I'm a huge fan of personal growth. I believe it's important, but it in itself will not ensure that you're following a path with a heart. Following a path with a heart is also about big moments and small moments. So in the big moments, big life decisions about your career, about a promotion, about having kids, about where to move, where to live, what to do, those are obvious places to check in and decide whether your path has a heart. But it's also about moment-to-moment decisions. So if you want to be able to catch yourself in a drift, you might set yourself on a path with a heart and then forget about the micro decisions along the way. And those are the ones that matter. The moment-to-moment, day-to-day, week-to-week decisions you make to make sure that those have a heart. And it's okay to make money. So you don't have to make money, but I know a lot of people who are following a path with a heart, and they make a lot of money, and that's okay. I know it's been talked about a lot at RAMA, but making money is okay. All right, so I want to talk about how do you discern whether your path has a heart? So Don Juan Mattis, he's a Yaqui Indian shaman. He's the subject of Carlos Castaneda's work. He says that it's simple to figure out whether you're following a path with a heart. He says, all you do is before you go down the path, you just ask the question, does this path have a heart? If the answer is no, you choose a different path. When my now 14-year-old oldest daughter was young, she had a very similar litmus test for deciding on whether you should eat snow or not. She said, if the snow is yellow, do not eat the snow, find other snow. So, Don Juan and my daughter, they definitely have some good advice around this, but let me give you some other criteria to think about. So, first of all, if you're following a path with a heart, it is seldom a clear path. The opening might be fairly clear, but what's coming down that path is seldom clear. So if it feels like your path is just bibbity bobbity boop, it likely does not have a heart. It is life-giving. So if you're following a path with a heart, it should feel like it is giving life, like it is serving life in some way. It's a great way to know moment to moment whether your path has a heart. It should make you feel a bit nauseous to consider what it would mean to follow a path with a heart. Maybe not moment to moment or day to day, but in your big path decisions, it should feel a bit nauseous and make you a bit queasy just to even think about it. Don Juan also says that if you're following a path with a heart, you must be free of fear and ambition. But I think the hardest part of all of this, I'm sure you can imagine yourself doing all these things I've talked about so far. The hardest part is stopping long enough to feel into whether the path has a heart or not. I've seen this time and time again in my work. So I work in the corporate world, and I help leaders find and follow and stay on paths with a heart. And time again, I come across leaders who have either waited too long before they've even asked the question about whether their path has a heart, they've allowed themselves to drift in and out, or they never even knew that the question was available to them. And so what I want to offer you is I want to offer you now, as part of this, I think I've talked a lot about the how, but I want to talk about the action part. And so I'm going to take you through a brief practice to give you an experience of what it means to feel into whether a path has a heart. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to move into a posture that you all know very well. If you've taken any of Guru Jas's class, you will know you always start with Ego Eradicator. So I'm going to ask you to bring your fingers into the pads of your hands. Thumbs are out. Arms up at 60 degrees. And softly close your eyes. And begin breath of fire. Let your body fill with prana. Let your heart open. Let go of any striving in this posture. Stay with it. Last 30 seconds. Try to relax your heart open. Inhale, bring your thumb tips to meet, extend your fingers out, plug your fingers into the sky, hold the breath, squeeze the navel point. Hold the posture, exhale. One more time, inhale. Hold the breath, squeeze the navel point, and now I want you to imagine the scene of your greatest victory. Whatever comes into your heart, just hold that vision, the vision of victory. Hold the breath. The eyes closed, slowly exhale. Wave the arms down. Plug your fingers into the earth. And just for a moment, hold that scene in your heart. And just very gently ask, does this path to victory have a heart? Let the answer wash over you. Bring your hands to rest on your thighs and softly open your eyes. So there you have it. The what and the how of following a path with a heart. It is seldom a path to success, but it is always a path to victory. Sat Nam.